No, don't fight me, little girl. You'll take me there. Because I tell you to. No complaining, old girl. No turning back. Nothing else matters now. Nothing makes sense anymore. Take me to the edge and beyond. To the edge of existence itself. Okay, time controller. Let's see what you have got.
Nah, I prefer the audios personally. Hello everybody out there in YouTube and welcome to another episode of Who Cosplays. I know it's been a while and I apologise profusely, but you know, life gets in the way and we all have to prioritise different things. But I'm back now and I'm here to talk to you about my latest new exciting cosplay, which is the Dark Eyes 8th Doctor. Now some of you will know what the Dark Eyes 8th Doctor costume is and some of you won't. And don't worry, in this episode I'm not only going to take you through the costume, I'm also going to briefly talk about what Dark Eyes is and where it came from. And to do that, I need to talk about another part of the Doctor Who canon, which is the Big Finish universe. So, what's Big Finish? So Big Finish is basically the audio adventures of Doctor Who, made by the company Big Finish Productions, which has Nicholas Briggs, the voice of the Daleks. And what they've been doing since 1999, 20 years, is providing us with those much needed classic Doctor Who stories. We've got the 4th Doctor, the 5th Doctor, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. And when Paul McGann decided to join the family, we got a whole new host of adventures for the 8th Doctor besides a movie. And the Night of the Doctor hadn't even happened yet. So the audios really were the only way you could experience the 8th Doctor's story. But unfortunately, for a very long time, Big Finish wasn't considered part of the Doctor Who canon. Everything that happened in there was basically its own separate alternate history, much like the BBC books are considered an alternative version of history for the Doctor Who universe. Because, once again, unnatural history, 8th Doctor story. So, as good as the audios are, and let me tell you, they are fantastic, and if you haven't listened to any, you need to, they basically weren't considered canon, which is a real shame. But fortunately, fast forward to the 50th anniversary on the 14th of November 2013, and a clever little Moffat decided to introduce this crucial line in Night of the Doctor.
Charlie, carers, Lucy, Tamsin, Molly. Friends, companions I've known, I salute you.
Charlie, Carriers, Lucy, Tamsin, Molly. Now all those names at first will mean nothing to you if you haven't listened to the audios, but for those of us who have, or have been recently joining the audio adventures, you will know exactly who those people are. They were the 8th Doctor's companions. And with that one line, which seems insignificant or not as important at that point, all the Big Finish stories became canon. Every story is now part of the official Doctor Who canon. It is part of the Doctor Who universe, which includes stories like Neverland, which is the best Doctor Who story ever that's never been on television, and, of course, Dark Eyes. See, there was a point to this. I wasn't just rambling and giving you a history lesson. So essentially, the Dark Eyes is the continuation of the adventures of the 8th Doctor. Now, the 8th Doctor had already been in some adventures with Charlie Pollard and Kerrys, and then later on Lucy Miller in the BBC Radio 4 Big Finish audios. Once that was done, however, Big Finish changed how the 8th Doctor adventures were to be presented. Rather than a single 4-part story, or as they were later, a 2-part story with Lucy Miller, they decided to go for the anthology-style box set. And that led us to Dark Eyes. And we basically follow 4 adventures, all an hour long, which is all one big connected story. And these basically are how the 8th Doctor format has been since, with Dark Eyes, Doom Coalition, Ravenous, and the Time War. But Dark Eyes was the first one, and it was exciting. It was so popular that it won an award, and it's well deserved. If this audio is brilliant, I'm not going to lie, this is brilliant. I've listened to this one more than any other audio, including Light at the End, which I think is fantastic. And it spawned 3 sequels. It got given 4 volumes. We had Dark Eyes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it basically chronicles the adventures of the Doctor and his companion Molly O'Sullivan, who is fantastic, versus the Daleks, the Master, and the Eminence. It's a very complicated story, but one which, now that it's canon, marks the beginnings of the Time War. So, if you haven't heard this, give it a listen. But that's all I have to say about the Big Finish audios. They are canon now. That I had to get that out of the way, otherwise the costume, me putting a costume from the expanded universe wouldn't make sense, or wouldn't exactly be relevant. So that's all I have to say about the Big Finish audios. Listen to them, they're brilliant. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And essentially, the Dark Eyes costume comes into play with Dark Eyes, because obviously it's named after that. Let me just give you a little bit more background as to where the Dark Eyes costume came from. Now, the Dark Eyes costume essentially is an outfit that Paul McGann put together himself with a little bit of help. I can't remember who it is, because the only video that we have unveiling the new costume was at a convention recorded by some fans. And basically what Paul McGann decided is, after looking at all those old pictures of him from the movie, well, the photos were old. He was wearing a terrible wig, and the outfit, compared to some of the others, isn't exactly the most practical. If you fast forward to the Night of the Doctor outfit, it is basically the same outfit as the one he wore in the movie, but he can actually run and fight and save the world in it. So Paul McGann wanted a new costume that he could take a few new photos with, and after ringing the BBC and then putting the phone down on him several times, he got his wish. And he took a bunch of photos in the Dark Eyes costume. And once that had been done, Big Finish decided to take the brave step of using it as part of their canon, and that's how the cover of Dark Eyes, you see him wearing the new outfit with a shorter haircut and a new sonic screwdriver. So that's basically where the Dark Eyes costume came from. And like I said, it became part of the canon when Big Finish was validated in Night of the Doctor. But not only that, if you needed any more proof that the Dark Eyes costume is legitimate and part of Doctor Who history in the 8th Doctor's timeline, eventually this year it was finally released in action figure form. If you want to see more information about this figure, basically go and watch my Doctor Who action figure review regarding the set. It's the first part of this trilogy, and I talk you through the whole figure. But essentially this is the costume, this is the Dark Eyes costume, this is the Dark Eyes Paul McGann. It's now a figure, so it must be part of the history. The only other figures that have been from the expanded continuity have been the real-time Colin Baker and the Big Finish Colin Baker, which is the blue coat, and finally the comic book Paul McGann, which is based on Children of the Revolution. But that's just basically his TV movie costume in different colours. This is the Big Finish model, and I really am glad this figure exists, because I really wanted this for a long time. And I must say, before I get onto the main part of this video, that I'm very glad that Big Finish is now canon, as their stories are excellent and they've produced such good stories. Like I said, Neverland, The Last Adventure, Light at the End, Legacy of Time, The Nowhere Place, the scariest Doctor Who story never seen on television. Seriously, if you want good Doctor Who, you should listen to Big Finish. And it's just like Colin Baker said.
Well, I think it's doing better Doctor Who than you might see elsewhere. Nobody's going to quote me, I hope.
Out of the mouth of number 6. So, aside from the Big Finish canon and the publicity photos that Paul McGann released, basically there's not much material regarding the Dark Eyes 8th Doctor. You can listen to the audio, sure, and you get a few promo images of it, but you never really get to see it in action. But you could always go to the action figure adventures. So why don't you have a quick look at these little clips from a fantastic 8th Doctor series by Batmanmarch.
Now I'm afraid this is where things get a little bit complicated.
Warning, warning, under attack!
It's too late! Stay where you are! This is the DMAC gun. goes nothing.
It's me, you big lump. Lucy Bleeding Miller.
Who?
Sorry, but the Indiana Jones look really isn't you. Especially not the man bag.
What? It's a satchel.
A midlife crisis, more like.
And for victory!
Come on, please.
Save us.
I'm going to kill Russell.
What's that?
It sounds like a TARDIS.
Forgive me.
And the adventure continues.
Just a little side note there, I was the guard who got hit by the TARDIS. Thank you very much for letting me use those clips, Batmanmarch. I've lost my words there. Thank you very much for letting me use those clips, Batmanmarch, and thank you for that series. Excellent work. But anyway, let's get on with the review. Anyway, that's the history lesson out the way. Now for the part of the video that you're really here for, which is to talk about the costume. Now, a little side note before I start talking about the different pieces of the costume. The costume itself is a work in progress, but that is because the outfit Paul McGann made is a work in progress. He never fully completed his costume. When he took the photos, only the top half was really assembled, and so the lower half is very easy to put together. But it's when you start getting into specific details you discover that this costume is not quite as easy as it looks. So what I'm going to talk you through in this episode is the boots, the trousers, the shirt, the coat, the bag. Yes, there's a bag. But the sonic screwdriver, well, that's going to get a review all of its own. The shoes that Paul McGann wears in all the publicity images are basically brown shoes. Now, like I said, I can't go for 100% accuracy. Why? I'll go into more detail later, but essentially the costume was incomplete. So you've got a bit more freedom than with other costumes to interpret this how you wish. Essentially, he wears brown shoes, so here are my brown shoes. They are just a pair of brown shoes with made out of leather with some laces. They've got some brassy gold details on them and obviously zips. I thought the zips were a cool idea because he needs to be able to run around and fight in these, so he needs to be able to get these on and go. And also he tracks around in the mud a lot in the first Dark Eyes, so yeah, you're not going to basically want your shoes weighting you down. So I got these. These are from Primark. You can easily get these. They won't cost you much. I think maybe £20 tops, possibly 30. But like I say, any brown boots will do. You can wear boots, shoes. Just make sure they're not more like his shoes that fit perfectly. Remember, this is the Dark Eyes costume, not the TV movie. Again, another first for the Doctor, and a very unusual item, but one that's also very, very easy to obtain. A pair of jeans. That's what you need for the trousers. He just wears a pair of blue jeans in all the source material. All I could find was blue jeans. I couldn't find any specific details as there's not fantastic looks at the costume. So I just got a pair of bright blue jeans, not dark blue because the coat's dark blue enough as it is. You'll see that in a bit. And essentially just the same with a brass fastener because I thought that fit in well with both the shoes and the coat, because the coat has some fantastic gold buttons on it. Yeah, any pair of jeans, again, Primark, £10. You could easily get any pair of jeans would basically do you, and you've got the bottom half sorted. And then essentially after that we move on to the top half. Now this is where things get complicated. The shirt that he wears under the coat, which is simply just a white t-shirt, not a jumper, not some fancy shirt with a cravat or a waistcoat, just a plain white shirt. This was a long sleeve one, which we cut the arms down to size on. It's just because it's a little bit thicker material because it's a long sleeve one, so to keep you warm a little bit more. This has got a lined effect on it. It's not just a plain t-shirt, but once again, open to interpretation due to the fact that there isn't many pictures of the shirt, and we rarely see pictures of him with the coat off, because the coat is basically the main feature of this costume. So let's move on to the bag. Now, no other Doctor has worn a bag, ever. They've never had a bag as part of their costume. They've maybe worn a rucksack or something like that in the Expanded Adventures, or occasionally worn something like that, but it was never ever part of their costume permanently. Well, Paul McGann decided to change this, and essentially he went with a canvas World War II messenger bag with a leather flip lid on it. Now, I've tried looking for this bag, and once again this is where the accuracy dips, because that bag was custom made. It's got 3 pockets, and it's nice and tall like one of the old messenger bags, and like I said, it's made out of both canvas material and leather, and it's got a big wide strap made out of the same material as most bags, nylon essentially, and you can't get it anywhere. I've looked for it. The only way you could get it is get it custom made. So here you've got a bit more freedom to experiment. I decided to go with this. This is a fully leather satchel. It's the slightly larger model you can get. This is from Amazon. This cost me £20. And essentially, as you can see, it's a tan brown leather. Very, very nice. It looks like, you know, you could run into it, go into war with it, fight the Daleks, carry all your goodies. And all you essentially need for this is you just wear it with the outfit and it keeps the coat closed. Other than that, the other use is, of course, that if you're cosplaying, you have something to carry your goodies in. And essentially, we have 2 pockets. It should be 3, but I couldn't find one with 3 pockets, essentially. And you've got the zip pockets, which aren't accurate either. And you've got the main body of the bag in there, which you can fit all sorts of jelly babies if you want. And of course, as you can see there, the sonic screwdriver, which the 8th Doctor uses. But we're not going to talk about that yet. That's, like I said, gets its own little episode. But this is the bag, essentially. The strap isn't quite thick enough, but it does the job. It's made out of a combination of leather and nylon, so it's good enough. And I wear this with my costume, and it does look excellent. And it sits nicely on the costume, and it's just a very, very nice bag. So like I said, Amazon, £20. This is a good option for you. It's probably the closest you'll get without going for a canvas bag, but some of the canvas bags might be too flimsy. So go with leather, it's a lot more durable. So, that's all the little bits and the easy parts of the costume talked about, essentially. Like I said, you can get plenty of interpretations of how the costume can look. You can get different boots, jeans, and the bag. You've got a lot of... Basically, you've got a lot of freedom. But with the coat, once again, it's very, very difficult. And I'll go into that while I'm talking about the coat. But we need a little bit of a change of venue to talk about this, because this is the most important part of the costume. So, here it is. This is my Dark Eyes 8th Doctor coat. Essentially, this came from Boutique England. Thank you very much, Boutique England, for helping me finally find this coat. I was looking everywhere, and I couldn't find anywhere near an accurate coat for the Dark Eyes 8th Doctor. And the reason for that is, once again, like the bag, the 8th Doctor's leather coat was a custom. It was based on the old naval peacoats with the double-breasted buttons, and they were in gold, and it was made out of blue leather, and it was basically because Paul McGann's father was in the Navy. So he decided to incorporate that into his new look for the 8th Doctor. Now, obviously being custom, unless you go down that route and get it custom made, which will cost a lot of money since it's made out of leather, you essentially are going to have to shop around and you're not going to get an accurate coat. So once again, word of warning, this is not 100% accurate, but it's the closest approximation that you can buy. This cost me around £160, so it's still very pricey, but if you could afford it, it's definitely worth getting. It's real leather, as you can probably see, and I've made some minor tweaks to it, very, very minor tweaks. I haven't had to do much to it at all in order to make it match the actual costume. You have the collar as it should, where it flipped up, because that's how the 8th Doctor wears it, and then the bag goes around the straps here to keep the coat closed. Have it fastened shut with 2 buttons, but the bottom button open. And basically, that's your Dark Eyes look. You're sorted. The bit where the inaccuracies come in is basically on the shoulders. You have extra buttons. On the basically the cuffs, you have 3 more buttons, and then on the bottom section of the coat below the pockets, you have these extra buttons as well. And basically, none of these details should be there. So those little extra straps there shouldn't be there. There shouldn't be cuff details or extra buttons, and there shouldn't be shoulder buttons. That's the inaccuracies. Other than that, the coat is exactly what you need. So you can either snip these off, which I'm not going to because it's a very expensive coat, or you can just paint the buttons to make them look more accurate and to match with the look of the coat. And basically all you need to do once you've done that is paint the buttons. The buttons when you first get them will be a pewter silver and black colour. They will not be gold. You can't get naval peacoats with gold buttons as far as I know. So all you need is a pot of antique gold model paint. Literally that's all you need, and you'll barely need any out of that. Just put masking tape around the buttons and paint them on a layer of gold and you've nailed it. And I must say that gold buttons with the navy blue actually suit really well. So why they don't make coats like that, I have no idea. And hopefully one day somebody will actually bother to make the Dark Eyes costume as part of official Doctor Who merchandise. I hope you're watching, BBC. But yeah, this is essentially the coat that you need. Boutique England, you can get it on eBay, Etsy, and you can get it on Amazon. You'll probably want to go for a small or an extra small. I definitely did, because they don't do custom sizing. It's leather, it'd be very difficult to do, but you can obviously commission somebody else to make one in custom sizes. So this is, I believe this is the extra small, I can't remember, and it's still a little bit big on the the sleeves for me, but the fact that I wear the bag with it makes it sit very, very nicely. So that's the coat, and that's the whole costume. Like I said, Boutique England, Amazon, Primark, they're your best friends, and then you can put the whole costume together and it will look fantastic. Obviously with any Doctor costume you also need a sonic screwdriver, and the Dark Eyes one has its own model. So if you've got one of these and you're thinking, oh, I've got the 8th Doctor sonic screwdriver, I could do this cosplay easily. No! This is the movie version and the Night of the Doctor version. We don't need this character options toy. Oh, I just broke an old friend. So, that's how you can put your Dark Eyes Doctor Who cosplay together. As you can see, you don't have to go with the options that I've chosen. There is a lot more freedom with this outfit due to the fact that it was never fully completed. The look that it is now with the jeans and the brown boots, that is how it looks now, and they won't ever change it again. I doubt that the Dark Eyes Doctor will ever appear on screen. It's a shame, but with the Night of the Doctor, essentially that's the 8th Doctor's final look. But I've always been partial to the Dark Eyes. So, that's it for this review of the costume. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, you can get the boots and the trousers from Primark. You can probably get the white top from Primark, but any clothing store, essentially, you just need a short sleeve white t-shirt. The bag was Amazon, £20. The coat is from Boutique England. You can get it in navy blue. You want it in navy blue. Remember, those buttons will not be gold. You have to paint those yourself. So, definitely get that. And, of course, the only thing left to talk about is the sonic screwdriver. But like I said to you earlier, we're going to look at that in a merchandise review. So for now, thank you for watching this episode of Who Cosplays, guys. Go and check out the Big Finish audios of Dark Eyes 1, 2, and 3, Doom Coalition, Ravenous, and of course the Time War. Any 8th Doctor adventures I can recommend, but just check out Big Finish in general. They're absolutely brilliant, and they are welcome to the official canon. And also go and check out Batmanmarch's 3rd 8th Doctor series. Mind you, go and check out his 1st and 2nd so that you have the whole story. They're fantastic pieces of stop frame animation. They've got lots of guest voice actors you might recognise who also like Doctor Who, including yours truly. Go and watch them if you want to see the Dark Eyes Doctor in action. It's brilliant. I can't recommend them enough. Once again, thank you Batmanmarch for letting me use clips of it. If you want more information on the Dark Eyes 8th Doctor figure that you can buy, which is exclusive to B&M, and it might not be around anymore because it was very rare, go and check out my action figure review of this figure together with the Dalek Interrogator Prime, or check out Batmanmarch's review of it, as we both put out reviews, and I'm sure several other people have. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for watching this episode, guys. Like I said, next up is the merchandise review of the 8th Doctor's Dark Eyes sonic screwdriver, or the penny whistle screwdriver, coming very, very soon. Eye of Darkness Part 3. So thank you for watching this episode, guys, and I shall see you very soon for more Who Cosplays.